Challenge yourself to change lives with the Big Belt Buckle Challenge. They make a no-strings-attached charitable donation when participants complete one or all of the 6 athletic challenges. In doing so, they aim to build a worldwide community that transcends sport and encourages people to make a positive lifestyle change while helping those in need. For 2023, a difficult but doable set of challenges has been created by Jeff Privete himself. They have all been inspired by his personal experiences throughout 2022. The events can be done in any order, and with the exception of the Road Gravel Challenge, there is no time limit for completion of a given event. All you have to do is make it through. Completing all 6 will require an incredible amount of dedication, courage, and a willingness to embrace the journey, regardless of the outcome. Won't you join Jeff at thebigbeltbucklechallenge.org? This is the Big Belt Buckle Challenge. Hello and welcome to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. You've got myself, Jim Riley, and Rod Kuntz here. And Rod is fired up. I'll just preface it with that. How you doing, buddy?
Fired up.
I know. I know how you're doing. Let me just answer that question. Hey, I'm going to start this call off with saying this. You will make more money if you sell goods and services by listening to this show today. You will make more money by listening to this show today if you follow some of the recommendations that I have, as well as I know that Rod will bring additional value to. How about that for an opening?
That's strong. That's a strong hook.
It is strong. Yep. But you know what? Look, you can be a member of different coaching groups. And obviously, if you're listening to this show, we have a membership group called the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. And I really like to call it a community because, Rod, over the last year and several months now that we've been around, I've seen everybody come together as a community and network, collaborate, ask questions together, have the confidence to ask questions in a public forum, and really start to get into a stride through this group. Have you not seen that? I mean, it's been awesome, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, this is something that we'll pat ourselves on the back here just a second, too. We've got almost all of our original members.
Yeah.
As well. We don't have a recidivism rate where people are dropping off. And it's pretty incredible. And people hold themselves accountable. If someone's not going to make a call, and this obviously is not a mandated thing, right?
Yeah.
You're free to do whatever you want, but we get text messages saying, "Oh man, I'm going to miss the call tonight. I won't be on there. You know, I'm doing this or that." And it's almost like we don't need a permission slip for people to not show up to one of our calls, but they know they're going to be missed, and they want everyone to know why.
My own wife, who is a member, by the way, if you're listening, my own wife apologized for missing Monday night's call. I'm like, it's okay. I know where you were. She's like, I know. I just feel bad. You know, I was like, wow, we've made an impact. So anyways,
it's fun.
The point of the group and the community is to bring value. And I believe that what we're doing here in this podcast is also bringing value because we have the opportunity to collaborate. And that is collaboration. I'll use that as the word for the topic of the day is collaboration. Having the ability to collaborate, you will make more money. You will be happier. You will have less stress. You will have the success that you're looking for if you have the ability to collaborate your needs, which, by the way, you need to be able to convey those needs. Oftentimes that comes through a plan, like a business plan, right? Because that's your roadmap to what you're doing. And we do offer business plan templates in our document section of the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. But I'm going to kind of jump through some of that because, Rod, I want to recap a little bit of the discussion I just had with a vendor for a consulting job that I'm on. If you don't know, I am a business consultant. I pick up 2 to 3 clients a month or at a time so that I'm not stretched too thin. Right now, I'm consulting for a ranch that has a boarding facility, an event facility, as well as a retail feed and supply store. Okay. And the idea when you go in to consult is you want to help them make more money. That's what I'm getting paid for. And I've broken down the task into different pillars, which include marketing. Obviously, revenue is one of them. appearance is one of them. What does the customer see as they roll into the parking lot or into the property? So there's a number of factors that go into this revenue generation. But at the end of the day, we've got to sell product. We've got to bring more people through the front doors. We've got to educate our customers as to what products they should buy and why. And finally, we want to look at the products that we sell and the profit margin of those items to ensure that we're focusing on the right items that are going to service the needs of the customer, but also bring in the proper revenue stream that we need to operate, be sustainable, and have long-term success. So what I'm doing, and this is where you should start taking notes if you have a business, and that is I'm reaching out to all of our vendors. And every business has a type of vendor or somebody that they're working with or collaborating with to conduct business. So in this case, I reached out to one of our major suppliers and said, look, here's what I'm doing. I'm creating a programming calendar for marketing. We're going to educate our consumers. We're going to bring in items that are more profitable, items that are more useful, items that we can achieve our goals and objectives with. I'd like to know from you, this is where that collaboration comes in. What are our most profitable items? What are items that we don't carry that we should be carrying? Where are we missing the mark? Are these items properly merchandised? Where's the upsell? And how can you, as our vendor, support us in our collective effort, our collaborative effort to sell more product, right? Because it's his job to sell us his product, and it's our job to sell that to the consumers. So how do we work together? And so we started talking about education. Well, let's have a clinic. Let's train your employees. Let's give you materials that will help educate them as to why these are important products. Let's be proactive on a programming calendar so that we're buying items not at the peak of the season when they're running short. You might pay more in shipping because you're rush ordering something, and you've missed the opportunity to go to the buying show in June to buy cold weather supplies at a discount. That's being proactive and collaborating with your vendors to bring more profit through your door. And what's interesting is this business has been around for 6+ years, and this vendor has never gotten the call that I gave him today. How can we work together to make more, sell more, be more value to the community? And his question to me is, what are you known for, Jim? And I couldn't answer the question, right? So let's give it some homework. And Rod, I'm going to let you weigh in heavy on this, but I'm trying to had enough coffee today where I'm just blurting it all out. But the first objective is, what are we known for? And once you can establish, that goes back to mission, vision, values, business plan. This is what we want to be known for. Build your business around that. Build your supplies around that. Build your customer base around that. Build your retail offerings around that, and then be great at it. And to be great at it is looking at, okay, what items fit that category? What items do we make money on? What items do we just need to have regardless because they're a resource? What items are we upselling? How do we provide more in education to our customers? And this whole long list of things. And so we went through this for over an hour. And I got to tell you, Rod, I haven't been so excited about helping a client because I don't want to say they're in the dark, but they've been on defense for 6+ years. Now we get to play offense and work and collaborate with one of our mini vendors. We've got a few more calls to make this week. I'm so excited about it because I can see already how this will transition into making more money. And I believe that people look past their vendors as a valuable resource, either because their ego's in the way, they're too shy to do it, they're too busy to do it, they don't make the time to do it, they don't have a plan, they don't know what they're known for, or they just don't understand the collaboration needed to be successful. And I ended the call, I'm going to turn it over to you here in a sec. I ended the call with saying, oh, by the way, once we establish what we're known for, what items we can be successful with, what items we can be profitable with, what marketing tools we can put out there, I'd like to go back to your vendors, your suppliers and see if they can help target market our Flathead County where we live, target market through their social media platforms, our customers. He goes, oh yeah, we do that all the time. They do that all the time. They'll spend hundreds of dollars to target market your store. And by the way, the owner of this company and this company and this company, they'll come out and promote you because they're so passionate about their partners. I'm like, oh my gosh, this business has missed these opportunities for all these years. So the excitement that I have not only comes from elevating their game, but the success that we can bring to the table. And so my challenge is for everybody to analyze their business and how they're collaborating. So, Rod, what say you?
Wow, I've got a lot to say. First, number one, you're speaking my language. I love business, and I have a heart for retail and wholesale, but I love retail. And if you don't love what you're doing, you're leaving money on the table.
Oh yeah.
If you're in business and you're not loving it, you're leaving money on the table. You should not just love the business portion, you should love the nitty-gritty, right? You started mentioning some of these things, and I loved leveraging supplier programs. I was so good at supply. I was great at returns. If I had a customer that was dissatisfied, I had such a good relationship with my suppliers, I could return for credit something that really shouldn't have been returned. But they kept me happy. I kept my customer happy. We kept happy. You build those collaborative relationships, and it saves you money, and you all work it together. The co-op advertising programs. And I noticed, for example, I know Carhartt used to have one of the best. They had a 50-50 co-op program, and they don't even have that anymore. I think because social media is getting in the way. But if you're not looking at co-op advertising programs for the suppliers that you have out there, and what these are, if you don't know, is if you run a newspaper ad, and say it's a quarter-page ad, it costs you $250. If you do things with the company logos and you meet their requirements, you don't have competitors and all that kind of stuff in, they'll pay for half of your ad.
Yep.
Well, why wouldn't you? Why, if you're not doing that, the other thing you mentioned is going to the buying shows and buying quantity and buying early. Typically, those have dating programs around them. And I used to love leveraging dating programs. I would go in the winter market and I would buy my summer stuff, right? And whether it was hiking shoes or sporting bags, hiking backpacks, I would buy all that stuff and I'd have 120-day dating, and I would have it shipped as early as possible. And I would turn that inventory twice before the bill ever came in. Imagine that. So I was literally paying for summer inventory replacements out of the profits I'd already made with stuff that wasn't even due yet. I mean, leverage. And the other thing you mentioned is, and this is one of the biggest ones, you bring those people in to educate the employees, to educate your staff. If you are not investing in your staff, if you are not training and teaching your staff, and not just about customer relations, it's about product knowledge. It's about merchandising, how that stuff has to look on the shelf. Why do we face shelves? Why do we put dummy stuff underneath our bins so that it's full? You sell more apples out of a full cart, right? There are all these little things. And if you're not training your staff, and typically these are younger people in the retail jobs, if they don't know, if they don't expect them to know this stuff. You have to know it yourself, number one. And number two, you have to teach it to the next generation.
Yeah.
Apprenticing the youth for real good customer service is something that we have fallen flat on. And you can see it in just about every store you walk into, right? I don't care what kind of store it is, a farm and ranch store, a sporting goods store, a supermarket. They all ask you, did you find everything you needed? Well, no, I didn't. Oh, yeah, well, sorry. But what do you ask the question for? It's too late if they're at the register checking out. It's too late. You need to have, little kiosks, a little bell to ring, cowbell. We need more cowbell. I need help over here. I'm looking for this. And people are shy and bashful. They're not going to ask for it unless you confront them.
That's right.
Right. And you have to have enough of a relationship that they're willing to ask you something.
Or be approachable. Be approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's crazy too is that people are shy to ask. they're shy to be educated. We were talking about fly spray, right? Now, you might walk into the store for the first time coming for fly spray because it's convenient and you don't see the brand you're used to buying. And maybe you don't even know the name. You just know the bottle's purple and white. And you're like, hey, do you have that purple? Nope, we don't have it. Okay. So then they don't buy any spray. You might have 4 other sprays. And all it takes is just the slightest hint of education to say, you know what? I'm familiar with that brand. We don't carry it, but we carry this one that does the same thing. And this is how and why. And all of a sudden, you've just converted a customer to the brand that you have because you have the slightest hint of education about your products. And typically, people are loyal to a degree. I think they're more loyal to their own personal convenience. If you can convince me that you have something just as good and it's going to, out here in rural Montana, if it's going to save me a trip into town, I'm going to buy it because I don't want to drive to town. But if you can't convince me that it's going to do the same thing, then eventually I'm going to get around to town and I'm going to buy the item where I know it's going to be at. And to your point, Rod, like those little education snippets and being available to make that sale before they're at the register. And I love what you just said. Why ask the question? It's too late.
Right.
Why ask the question? I chuckle every time somebody asks me something out of habit or how they've been told to ask it, but they don't know why. Because I just laugh. I'm like, I know why they're asking me that. They could give 2 shits about that. Right. All they want to do is get me away from the front of their face, get done with the transaction so they can go back to their cell phone or whatever it was they were doing before I inconvenienced them as a customer. Right. But, this is going back to what we've talked about in the syndicate. And you're so good at this, Rod, is just having a plan and knowing why you are in business, having, your war path, right? What does that look like? Because if you don't know, you're not going to know what questions to ask your collaborative partners, your vendors. You're not going to have the ability to go to these shows like what you talked about, buy early on their terms.
Right.
like I'm so impressed. How many times you flip it? 2 times before you even had to pay the bill?
There were times it'd even be more.
I mean, seriously, that's free money.
It is. It is.
And by the way, you use the word leverage, and I love that word. But oftentimes people might look at that negatively, like, "Oh, why are you leveraging your vendors?" The reality is, they want to be leveraged. They want to sell more of their product. And you know what? That vendor that you flipped 2 times before the bill was due, I guarantee you, he's bragging to his boss. Look, they've burned through inventory twice before they've even paid the bill, man. These guys are crazy over here.
Yeah.
Leverage is a good thing because everybody wins when you're able to move more product and service the customer.
Absolutely. And I don't know, sometimes people, I see this, I can walk into stores and you can see where someone gets sold also.
Oh yeah.
Where they get sold by vendors, right? And this can be a danger, but you need to know your customer well enough and your product line well enough to not buy stuff that is either duplicating what you already have, or not offering a different enough price point than what you have. And you just don't want to be too inventory heavy.
Yeah.
You want to have diversity, but there's some people who just can't say no, and a lot of it's ego. They want these people to know, we're doing really great here. I'll buy that. I'll buy this. I'll buy 2 of those. No, you don't need it. You've got to be strong enough to say no if you know your clientele. And I could tell you all kinds of stories about that portion too. Sometimes you're battling against egos, and just stick to business.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to compliment the gentleman I was speaking with. His name is Ryan Carter, and he's with Veterinary Services Incorporated, and they service a lot of the vet supplies you might need, like dewormers or wound care, syringes, stuff like that typical ranch and feed stores need. And the call was collaborative. Again, using that word, because we both knew that we were on the same page of what the objectives are, or what the objectives should be for the store, or for this particular client of mine and his, right? And I think people miss that. they don't go beyond what's right in front of them. They stay on the defense instead of looking at their vendors as partners and ways that they can do more. And you know what? Shame on those partners, those vendors that just want to sell you more because they got to hit a quota. And I've seen that in the alcohol industry. And that disgusts me because, as an example, if you own a martini bar, just using alcohol as an example, if you own a martini bar and they're trying to sell in tequila for margaritas, it's like, you've missed the messaging here. This is a martini bar, vodkas and gins, maybe whiskeys, but not tequilas, right? And then you walk into this martini bar and they've got a whole shelf set of 40 different tequilas. You've been sold a bill of goods,
right?
And shame on them for doing that. But shame on the account or the buyer for not knowing any better, for not knowing what they're known for or who they are, or what their business plan looks like, or their mission value statement. Because when you know those things, it's easy to thank the vendor or the supplier. Hey, I appreciate that you put another deal in front of me, but as you know, we don't sell tequila here. We sell vodka and gin, right? Or we don't sell that particular supply. But if you don't know and you just see another deal on the table, it's like, that sounds like a good deal. We'll sell some of that. And you wind up eating the inventory eventually, or it's dated, or, the brand goes out a bit, whatever that looks like, right? So shame on both parties, but the onus falls on the buyer. They really need to know what they're known for, what their plan is, why they would say yes to something, and know the numbers that they need to hit to sell something.
Absolutely. And it all comes down to being teachable. We all have new things to learn here, right? And we have to be able to assimilate that knowledge and pass it on to our buyers, pass it on to our staff, pass it on to our cashiers. We have to first learn it ourselves. And we don't know everything. Believe me, there's always something new. So don't think you know everything. If you've got a business out there, take another look at it. Look at it from your customer's eyes. Look at it from a competitor's eyes. That's even a tougher challenge there.
Well, I'm going to go back to how I opened this up with, and we can wrap it up, but I want to hear your final thoughts. Make sure that we hit the mark. This call, this recording will make you more money if you look at the collaboration between you and your vendors, service suppliers, customers. The list is long, but you need to know what you're known for, what your why is, what your business plan looks like, so you can follow that roadmap. If you don't know, I would love to have you on the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate membership program. And I promise you that we can help walk through these steps with you. Right? I totally forgot. You need to ask up front, right? I totally forgot that you have this background in retail. We talked about it maybe a year or two ago. But look, we're here to help. I guarantee you that with my background, I'm going to 10x what this client's paying for me in the next week based on this one discussion that I had today with one supplier. And I think we probably have 20 or 30 more suppliers, right? So we're here to help you make more money, help you succeed, find the way. Rod, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, you can't be afraid to get into the weeds. You've got to look at your business from the nano level. Those little changes, just talking to your supplier, going one step further about advertising, marketing. And you know what? You might even, if you're spending a lot of money with a supplier, it's little things like, hey, could we get to 40? We've been a customer of yours for 6 years. Could we go to a 45-day dating program?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Net 45 instead of net 30. Man, that's a half a month's worth of other people's money.
Yep.
And they'd be happy to do it for you in a lot of cases, because maybe from their supplier, right? They get 45 or 60 or 90. They'll pass that on. And you don't know if you don't ask. And those little things add up. A little add-on sale to every sale you have adds up. And believe me, the government knows that.
Well, gosh, yeah, we could probably talk about this for hours because there's so many little details to that, right? Like what you just said, maybe you've got a credit card because you're falling short each month by a week. And so you're buying things through your credit card, you're paying, 18% interest these days on credit cards, whatever that was, 27. and maybe you're paying it off, whatever that looks like. If you can change your terms with your vendors by 15 days or 30 more days, and maybe it used to be 30 days net, but they changed their policy and you never knew it. Now it's 60 or 90. You just never asked. I mean, there is so many ways to skin that cat, but you've got to look at every unturned stone to figure that out. And that's where the value is, having discussions with people like Rod or myself to figure it out and know what stones to turn over.
Absolutely. I think we've exhausted what we can. We could, like you said, we could go on for this for
That's
hours
fun.
and hours. I do. And I love retail. I love wholesale. I love business. There's just so many depths of layers of, I don't know, gosh, it's just fun. It's fun. And then you add in the people factor. That's the great unknown right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, this has been fun. I'm kind of tweaked out about it. I can't wait to get down to my client's place and walk through some of the things I've learned and look at a shelf set today and see where we can just start making some moves right now. By the way, the vendor was thrilled. Ryan was thrilled to come out and meet with me. He's in Idaho, we're in Montana, but he's like, yeah, I'm happy to come out and meet with you, and let's walk the store. Let's figure out where that money's at. Let's find out ways that we can collaborate and work together, right? All because of one phone call. So don't be afraid to make the call. By the way, if the one call you make is to Rod or myself, or just check the website for Young Entrepreneur Syndicate, that membership could save you or make you tons and tons of money. So and you know what, Rod, I don't mean to be salesy about it, but this stuff excites me. And if I can help other people like we are with our members, that keeps me motivated every day. We've been blessed. It's time to help others.
Absolutely. Positively.
Yeah. Right on. Well, look, have an awesome day. Thanks for tuning in to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate podcast. If you like the show, please share it. If you want to hear us talk about something specific, write us. We'd love to add it to our content every week. So thank you very much.